fixing this by letting D.C. spend more of this. Do any of you see anything wrong with any of this? Hi, everyone. I'm Neil Cavuto, and here we go again. Congress still in slow motion to find a solution for the VA. Shock of shocks. Now they're calling for speeding things up, but guess how? By bringing back earmarks to get all of this on a fast track. You can call it earmark spending or pork spending or targeted spending. It is still spending. It is still green we don't have, and still a problem that has, well, pretty much everyone here seen red. To Ben Stein and Dagan McDowell, glad to have her back, along with Charles Payne and Adam Lashinsky. Charlie Gasparino is hitching a ride back as we speak from... Where is he? Idaho?
Yeah, he was touring McDonald's in the Midwest.
I was in Idaho.
Well, the thing about Gaspo is he was doing one of those live reports from what looked like a highway. So we were taking the under and over on whether our Mack truck was just going to plow him down. Unfortunately, that did not happen. All right, he will be back next week. All right, let's talk a little bit about this. Charles Payne, here we go again.
Yeah.
But now maybe earmarks are the way to just mark this for VA and VA use only.
And then it'll go away, right? We'll solve the problem. We know the money isn't the problem. I mean, with respect to this budget, the budget has grown dramatically. The president himself brags about how much money has already been thrown at the problem. The serious problem is, of course, the structure, the lack of leadership, and just really the lack of accountability. And money is not going to make it better. It's actually probably going to make it worse. They need to figure out a way to really honestly fix this thing. It's going to need some free market solutions, whether you say, you know, dismantle it and make it sort of more of a free market thing or not. It's going to need something that a lot of politicians in Washington don't want to happen.
Now, I had a congressman talk about this earmark, and the way it was explained to me is this: at least with an earmark, you know where the money's going. Well, that's fine. But you also know from prior earmark experience, Dagan, that it's just wasted. So are we to feel any more confident if it is earmarked for the VA or whatever to help veterans that it will actually go to that? Because with $158 million budget as it is now, they're not exactly on fire.
Right. It shouldn't make you feel more confident that the money will be well spent. It would certainly speed up the spending of that money on the VA and all the affairs there. But what the problem is, as Charles pointed out, it's central control, greater centralization of management of the VA in the last 2 decades or so, and then subsequent bureaucracy where the regional areas lost control and it was moved back to Washington. I think some of the money, you know, the CBO estimate came in on the House side of this bill, and it came in a little bit lower at $35 billion. So some of the money, at least to give veterans access to private care rather than waiting, I think people feel like that should be well spent, but a kind of overall reorganization of the VA needs to happen.
Ben Stein.
Well, it's interesting. There is such a thing as learning, and I argued against privatizing VA care, veterans care, a few weeks ago. But I've been convinced by Gasparino and by other people on the show. I think the way to go is to convert it to a free market system, to give people vouchers or give them some other kind of money substitute, so they can go to their own doctors. I think the problem is bureaucracy. I myself would not want to be treated in a bureaucracy. I don't think the veterans should have to be unless they want to be. Let's just give them vouchers and let them spend it themselves, and I think we'll get better care in a free market. Of course, there has to be some accountability, there has to be some standards, but let's go to a free market solution by all means.
So just to clarify here, you agreed with something that Charlie Gasparino said?
Yes, I do. Of course, he's not here. Makes it a lot easier if he's not here.
All right, Adam.
Let me try to bring you back to reality, Ben, and Dagan and Charles, for that matter. This is a political topic. I mean, we're talking about caring for our veterans who fight in our armed forces and go to war for us. This is a political topic. Earmarks are actually an appropriate political way to spend money. If we can take the money that we've got and get it more quickly to where it belongs to solve this very political problem. I mean, this is a screw-up. Everybody agrees this is a terrible screw-up. So it's appropriate that we behave politically with this money. Let's get it to the veterans to get their care improved quickly, and then talk about vouchers and structural reform and whatnot.
You can get them vouchers quickly. I mean, listen, Adam, there's a reason why, you know, America rejected earmarks. I mean, you're opening up in a Pandora's box. Don't you know this is it's going to be a free-for-all. It's going to be bridges to nowhere. It's all about looting Washington. We can get them the money quickly. That's what we need to do. We need to blow up the structure of the VA and make sure that this never happens again.
I love how Adam talks to us. He talks to us like Nancy Pelosi would, as if we all just told a big lie. Let me bring you back to reality, as if we're living in fantasy land about what's going on at the VA. But Adam, the
right
point
on,
is,
sister.
the point is the budget for the VA has doubled in the last 10 years or so. The patient caseload is up 30%. So to a large extent, the money is there. It's being mismanaged.
I think what we're missing here is that let's talk first of all about the $158 billion that the VA already gets. Now you could talk about whether that's enough.
Billion.
Yeah, that's what I said. Did I say million?
And $158 billion is a staggering sum.
All right, so
I mean, if you calculate it per
I'm with
veteran,
you, Ben.
it's
I'm on your side.
unbelievable sum.
And this is why Charlie Gasparino hates you, because you interrupt him, and he's just making a profound point.
Well, he hates me because he mistakenly thinks I was born rich.
Oh, no. At least by 2. Here's what I worry about, Charles Payne, is that we do, to Ben's point, throw good money after bad without understanding how it is the system got as broke as it is. And now the argument against spending even more money is that Republicans are just being selfish or heartless or callous. And I've heard this argument again and again and again.
And you're going to hear it again and again and again on a variety of issues, unfortunately. But ultimately, we do want to make sure that $158 billion with the B.
Well, what about privatizing it?
I love the idea.
Yeah?
I absolutely love the idea. I want to help the vets. Adam, to Jay Dagan's point, you did kind of speak to us as if we, were totally uninformed about the problem here, or that no one here cares about the vets. I understand what you're trying to say, but we're talking about taking care of the vets now and in the future, so this never becomes a problem again.
And I just want to say, for clarity, I'm not saying that the Republicans or that you are taking this position out of a perspective of not caring for the veterans. I'm not saying that. I agree.
You said you wanted to bring us back to reality, and then you introduced the land of Oz.
The reality being the reality being that earmarking some money in a legislative process is not a ridiculous way to try to get the problem solved quickly. I'm not suggesting, Charles, that you don't care.
Whether it's earmarked or nose marked or leg marked, or the point of that, no matter what Washington does to dispense and disperse cash, it's our cash. It's always misallocated. It's always wasted. We always drive up the debt. That's the merry-go-round we got to stop.
No, Neil, not always. I mean, I understand the point, and I'm not saying
99.9% of the time.
No, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. I mean, take the military as an example. We have the world's most powerful military. We spend that money well. We also waste some of it. But I think we should continue to try to do our best, not take the system apart.
Well, if the system's not working,
anyone here doesn't want to do?
Go ahead, Ben.
Do you think anyone here doesn't want to do our best? I mean, what are you talking about? We all want to do our best. I mean, what is that?
It's a question of tactics. It's a question of tactics. We can't throw up a voucher system tomorrow. You can't do it.
He's not saying tomorrow. He's not saying tomorrow. But if you are facing a veteran, Adam, who's saying, all right, we don't have enough time to get to you for the next, 3 years. But the hospital across the street will get to you maybe next month. Here's a voucher to do that. Obviously, there's a process you have to put in place and get it assimilated and all that. But what's wrong with that?
And I'm saying your local congressman or congresswoman might be able to help you really quickly here, because that's one of their jobs. That's one thing they're supposed to do, is help their constituents.
They're not doing it.
And by the way, even if we privatize it, as Charles suggested, the cost of running this program is still going to be a huge issue.
That's right.
Even if you did a partial privatization, like Medicare, for example, where it's just the government running an insurance program, again, that thing's going broke in about 12 years or so.